All right, so this is the second part of the USPS, my USPS slash mailman um, experience. So, um, some of the points I was making in the previous video was a lot of the issues that stem, at least in my case, from working at the post office comes from inadequacies at supervisor and even the managerial positions. Now, while as a carrier, I didn't experience much. Um, I didn't see much inadequacies from the postmasters. Now that's also because of all the post offices that I worked at. Again, I was sent to a number of different post offices when I was working as a carrier in Fulton County. Um, shoot, most of North Fulton County, well, at least in my mind. But that's also because a lot of the postmasters at those offices were not there at those offices, so it was hard to tell what directives came directly from them and which ones were from the supervisors themselves, just you know making up ish like as they go. The supervisors that I dealt with, a lot of them weren't going along like how I said in the previous video with how the post office rules and regulations go. So that very well could be from the postmaster, but 9 times out of 10, the higher up you go, I would assume the more you're held accountable to whatever that company's standards are. um, But yeah, no, I mean, with the post office, this is one of those jobs where uh, you have those jobs where like you work 12-hour shifts, probably 3 days on or 4 days off, or vice versa, 4 days on, 3 days off, and you work 12-hour shifts. Not a lot of people are fond of those kind of jobs. So what I will say with the post office is overall, I wouldn't say, yeah, if you have options, like if you can get another job, go with the post office. But what I will say is, like, let's say you don't have a car, you're looking for a car or you need to save up a good bit of money, quicker rather. Post office is generally good for that. And I got to be careful how I say that because recently they've been cutting back hours for carriers. And they've been doing the same thing for PSEs too. A lot of carriers in the past have complained about, working 13, 14-hour days. I mean, I said in the last video, there are times where I came in at 9:30. Now, with me, it was just as much as, slow casing as it was me being out on the street. So I guess it's not the same exact scenario, but even when casing wasn't an issue, like when I was sent up to the post office in Cumming, well, which is in Forsyth County, it wasn't as much of a casing issue back up there. But I think with that route, with me being new and unfamiliar with the area and being sent up there to, do this, in my mind, like it was, kind of between a medium to long route. Like it wasn't a definite long route. But in my mind, that route was long enough. So with that, yes, I would be out on the road like 9, 10 hours, which isn't crazy. But again, you factor in when you come into the office to get your parcels and get everything put together, you know? Um, so it's just a matter of, in my mind, what are you trying to accomplish when you come there? Like, are you trying to make some money real quick? If you're coming there for like like career wise, then yeah, hell no. Like, I mean, everyone says, at least from what I've seen on videos, I talk about, someone's work experience. Everyone says don't work at XYZ place. Everyone says that. But it's different when you're talking about reasons. Like if you're just coming to make money, then like I said before, yeah. If you're coming to like start a career, then hell nah. Like I mean, from what I've seen, it's easy to become a supervisor like at the post office. Like no one no one wants that position. The driver supervisor. I mean, it's probably almost as bad as being a carrier, but for a little bit different reasons. So career wise, I mean, if for whatever reason, like you're looking at the post office, I would suggest automotive technician. Like that's what I would go for, at this point. Like automotive technician, because I know at least down in Georgia, the schedules are like what, it's 9 to 5 ish, but it's not, exactly 9 to 5. It's like 8 to 4 or 7 to 3. They have a set schedule like in that range. Um, but not only that, you come in, the salary is around 60,000 per year starting. You get full benefits. A lot of positions at the post office, you don't get benefits until you turn regular. It's the same thing with the carriers, because with the carriers, like you have the CCAs, and then you have the regular carriers. You have RCAs, which are rural carriers, and then they can become regular carriers. But as a CCA or RCA, like, you're going to be in that title, until you make regular, which, who knows how long that can take. It depends on how many people quit or retire ahead of you. I mean, you have numerous drivers that have been at the post office for 20 some odd years. There was a driver at the Marietta post office that's been there since 1984. I mean, there's a clerk at one of the Roswell post offices that have been there since 77. I mean, they just don't quit. You know what I mean? So who knows how long? Um, Depends on your specific post office. Um, but for me, it wasn't a great experience. There was a time uh, they sent me to Decatur to deliver some mail, or help out for the day. Man, now Decatur has gotten a little bit better from what I guess it used to be, but trust, like, Decatur, I mean, there's still a lot of hood in Decatur, so it's not like it's Alpharetta now or nothing like that. Part of Decatur has gotten rebuilt or whatever, but that was the part that I was, delivering in, and like they had a shit ton of mail, like a lot of mail, you know, and that wasn't even a casing problem that time. Like, they had someone case for me, so I was only at the office for about like an hour and a half to just under 2 hours. So I actually got out in a decent amount of time, unlike other places. It's just, well, I started my route at like 10:30, no, at like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I kid you not, I was like, I still had a tray of mail left to deliver, and it was 11, no, 10:47 p.m. and I'm in the hood delivering. It's way past dark at this point, and I'm like to myself, I was like, you know what, this is enough. Because not only do I not feel safe out here, because I still had packages that had to be delivered. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna jump out, run to these doors, these homes like in the hood, and if you've driven through the hood, like, just going to someone's house is kind of sketchy. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, so I'm just gonna just keep jumping out and running packages to doors or what have you, and delivering mail, until damn near midnight, possibly. So no, I brought that right back. And then the supervisors was looking at me sideways, like, why are you coming back with mail? I'm like, hello, I'm gonna sacrifice my safety because y'all want some mail delivered. I'm like, all right, that's cool, but I hope you're willing to go out there and do it yourself, because I sure as hell ain't. Like, y'all can do whatever y'all gonna do, write me up or whatever the penalty for that is, but I'm not. No, no, bro, come on now, come on now. Not only that, but most post offices, like, if you're out past what, 9, or at least where I was working, most post offices where I was working, like, you out past 9, 9:30, they're sending someone out to help you. Not in Decatur, bro. Like, in I don't even know how many post offices are in Decatur. It's probably like it may just be one, it may be multiple, but that wasn't happening back out there. So for those of you that have watched my first video on this, part one, and the current one, hopefully I gave some insight. Because, like I said, not too long ago, I mean, if you're looking for like a career, something consistent, the post office ain't the move. This isn't the same post office job that it was, like, let's say, like in the 90s and the early 2000s, probably early in the 2010s. Because from what I understand, the post office got real difficult, on the actual mailman side of things once they partnered with Amazon, because Amazon has just this never ending flow of packages. You're taking Amazon packages on the weekdays on the normal routes, and then you also they have, trying to remember if it was Saturday or no, Sunday. Sundays are just dedicated Amazon days, where it's nothing but Amazon packages. So it's like you're taking Amazon packages 6 days a week, if you're a CCA, and then you're taking, and then you're expected to come in on Sunday and take nothing but Amazon packages. And like I said, it's um, gotten a lot more difficult with the Amazon packages being a part of it. I mean, way back in the day, drivers probably had to take what 10 packages in total for the whole route. Now, you're shoot. I mean, you'll get between 50 and 100 packages, on a light day. And let's hope the route or some idea of what the route you're doing is, that they put you on. Um, like, hey, I don't know about y'all, but it's crazy. And don't get me started on there's no set days off as a TCA. I mean, I imagine they've gotten better like now, presently, but when I was there last year, it wasn't even that long ago. But when I was there last year, it wasn't uncommon to work 14 days straight, 13 days straight. Like you hear stories of drivers, before, not too, like a month or two before I got there, working, 21, no, not 21, but like 25 days, consecutively. One of the stewards at the post office was telling me how they had to file a grievance because one driver was working 3 months straight and didn't get an off day, which sounds crazy. In my case, the longest that I worked was 13 days straight. But here's the thing, goes back to what I was saying, like what your goal is. Like if you're trying to buy a car, you don't have there's something that you need that takes more than like a simple paycheck. Like that's great, like you're making two, three, $4,000 in one paycheck because you work 13 days straight, probably most of those days with 11, 12-hour days, and sprinkle in a couple 13, 14-hour days. Like I was able to get a car, doing it like that, but that wears on you. You aren't going to have longevity like that unless you just got nothing else going on. So, but like I said, but like I was getting ready to say, hopefully this gives y'all something to think about if you were at the post office and trying to come back, and as a CCA, or maybe you just haven't been at the post office like at all. you know um I feel like if they get the supervisor thing down, then like it won't solve all their problems, because I think a lot of the post office's problems are systemic. The postmasters, you know a lot of them are grandfathered in. A lot of them are waiting for retirement. The ones I've dealt with, as a carrier, you know as a carrier now, I'm not talking as a PSC, or when I was a PSC, but as a carrier weren't that bad. um, but even like above, it's like a lot of favoritism. The people that have the positions higher than postmaster know the current postmasters, so no one really gets in trouble. Like they get warnings and all this stuff, and it's hard to fire folks. So even when people aren't doing their job well, they keep their job. They may get a stern talking to. I mean, and it doesn't go far past that. If you get to the official process of how to, for someone to get, to lose their job, it's this really long drawn out process. Everything takes documents to sign. It's just systemically, there are things to fix. But from a driver standpoint, your concern is going to be the supervisors, the DPS, the flats, and however many packages. All right. Anyway, if you made it all the way through, thanks. Check out my video game gameplay videos. All right. Um, I did this because it's just something that's been on my mind, and you know something I obviously have experience in. But check out the video gameplay. All right.